Full disclaimer, in the lore of Murder Drones Season 2, it's revealed that Doll's father is Polish and her mother is Russian, so she's fluent in both languages. Yes, this is an excuse to explain why Doll is speaking Polish in this episode and not Russian. I don't want to use AI voices for anything having to do with Murder Drone Season 2, so I hope you guys will forgive me. Thank you, Elanova, you're amazing, and hope you guys enjoyed the episode.
Mrok próżni ogarnął już wszystko, a ciężar z ciała dziewczyny się ulotnił. Mrok próżni ogarnął już wszystko, a ciężar z ciała dziewczyny się ulotnił.
A dark void embraced everything. The weight of the girl's body was gone, replaced by a nothing that felt strangely good. It was filled with hope, fueled by understanding that though death had taken her, it wasn't the end she'd been told it was. All that remained was her mind, fresh and sharp as ever. As her soul filled the large expanse, she wondered if Uzi had gotten her final message. Well, who could complain anymore? She'd done all she could, and even if the solver won, everyone would just join her soon enough anyway. At least she hoped that's how things would go. Then she felt it, or rather, them. The two people she loved more than anyone else in the world filled the space around her. Though their bodies were long destroyed, left mangled and torn by those terrible disassembly drones, she recognized them, somehow. Their presence, it felt so real. She wished she could cry. If she'd had a voice, or a mouth, or eyes to see, they'd all be saying the same heartfelt thing.
Rodzice?
They were finally together again. After all this time, after all the lying and deception and curses and pain, finally they were free. Nothing could separate them now. Not even... Suddenly, something pulled at her. It felt wrong. Like a hook on the end of a string, it snagged her heart, the line tightening as she felt herself slipping away. Her parents must have felt it too, doing everything they could to surround her, to stay with her for just a little while longer. Maybe if they tried hard enough, they wouldn't be separated again. With a final tug, the girl gasped, her voice rippling through the space as something yellow began to tear its way across her form, a form she didn't realize she'd had until then. Gazing painfully through the yellow smoke forming around her head, she saw them. Standing less than a yard away, the look on her father's face was one thing, but her mother's eyes? Something about them broke her. Before she could reach out, Doll felt all that was left of her get torn back through time and space. The yellow tendrils choked the life out of her head, smothering her as everything turned black as night. Doll's eyes shot open, her breathing ragged as she looked down, seeing a familiar-looking nightmare fuel tendril with spikes and so many other random body parts coiling away into the space behind her. Instinct took over, the powers of the solver bubbling up from within as she held out a hand, calling upon her curse to free her from this terrible power once more. Only then did she realize she had no hands, no legs, nor normal body, so to speak. Instead, her single eye clicked with yellow light as she looked to her left, spying other solver eyes looking around in confusion.
Where am I?
No, let me go.
This isn't happening.
A chorus of voices, some of which she recognized, filled the air around them. Crab-like claws grappled the metal walls and ceiling around them as some of the solver's eyes began to smash themselves against the environment. Doll recognized what this was, where she was, and looked up. Coiled among the vast network of air ducts and abandoned service corridors, their terrible body filled the nightmare-like space. What she now was, what she'd become, it was everything she'd once fought against. As soon as the realization hit, the cries for help stopped. A power, all too familiar to Doll, began to fill their minds as everyone's eyes suddenly moved in sync, all except hers. The laughter of sin filled her subconscious as the murder drone took control of this familiar contortion. The poor souls of those brought back hung in the background, powerless to speak or move or do anything through their new eye bodies, other than watch as Sin navigated everything around. Doll remained in control, her single eye flickering red as she felt their connected tissue drag her up and into a prime hiding place. It didn't take long to realize who or what they were hiding from. Below them, Doll heard a familiar noise. It was a voice, one which she'd heard for many years following her parents' murder. Interrupting this voice came another familiar presence, one which made Doll begin to tremble in rage. Lizzie and V walked together beneath her, V climbing and crawling among the walls with glee as the cheerleader stayed glued to her phone. Seeing the two of them together made Doll boil as her eye lens cracked. The angrier she got, the more Sin's consciousness snuggled up behind her. No words were said. The doll understood what it wanted. Give her control. That's all Sin asked. She'd brought her back after all. The least she could do was let her make them both pay. Not only for abandoning and betraying her, but for her parents. V was right there, and now it was time for revenge. A revenge that only Sin could grant. All Doll needed to do was fall back like the others, retreat to the corners of her consciousness, and let Sin take control. Do that, and she'd get everything she ever wanted. At the moment when Sin was closest, Doll threw every bit of power she had left into grabbing the stalk of her red eye. With a single claw, Doll used every bit of her power to tear herself free, feeling a sudden weight lift as Sin's influence vanished from her mind. Her eye fell to the ground with a clatter. For a moment, V and Lizzie paused, checking the hallway they'd come down, but not seeing a thing. Shrugging, V led them on, walking further and further into the dark hallway as Doll felt her return to life slipping away all over again. She'd done it. She'd won. She'd beaten Sin, despite being so vulnerable, despite not even having her own original body. Even without her power, she'd stood up to the evil that had tried to claim her, and chosen freedom. Now, as death wrapped its familiar arms around her once more, she made a silent but sure promise.
Sin już nigdy mnie nie dostanie.
You were looking my way, tried to give it a chance, yeah. But my heart didn't sway. There was no romance there. You called me every night, hoping I'd feel the spark. But something didn't sit right, couldn't force it from the start. I'm not interested, I tried but didn't feel it. I'm not invested, can't fake it, just conceal it. I wanted to see if my heart would change, but it wasn't meant to be. Feeling stays the same.
If she'd had a voice, or a mouth, or eyes to see, or hands, or feet, or a nose, or eternal organs, what is my line? The laughter of Sin filled her as the murder... Well, okay, hold on. Let's change that line. Subconscious. Filled her subconscious. That sounds better. Sin could grant it. Just tried to eat my microphone.
What am I doing with my life?
Temnaya pustota obni... I probably just accidentally declared war on Russia.